Glory to the Swarm, brothers and sisters. I'm your cult leader, Cheese, and today we'll be watching another replay from the voice of Mechabellum, Amaroq. Before he sent me this replay, he asked me, just how late can one pivot to the gospel anyway? Knowing Amaroq, there are going to be many shenanigans afoot. I can't wait to see what he's cooking this time. Please also make sure to check out Amaroq on Twitch, where he's streaming 4 days a week. Before we get into the game, I'd just like to thank you for taking the time to like and subscribe. Spreading the gospel is a great way to meet new people and learn new words. Some you may not even want to repeat in polite company. Okay, here we go. Looks like Amaroq has Speed Specialist, which I know is his favorite. Fortified here is pretty good. Honestly, these are all pretty good packs for Amaroq. Opponent takes Supply Specialist with Void Eyes and Sledgehammers. That would definitely negate this Fortified Specialist. Luckily, Amaroq is Speed. So, let's see what he does here. Mustangs and Hounds going into Sledges and Void Eyes. I actually like this for Amaroq. A little bit of chaff, and might be able to take this first round. It's really going to depend on these tower timings. Our opponent goes with the late crawlers. And here we go. We're easily going to win this left side here as Amaroq, and it does look like most of his forces from the right side get pulled over, so this could actually wind up working out for us really well if we take this tower as things are engaging. That'll slow down the tower take on the other side, allow us to clean up all this chaff and the Void Eyes. Sledges will get some kills, but this looks like a pretty heavy win for the Mustangs here. This tower timing could change it though. Alright, yep, the Mustangs are able to chunk through the forces. Just a few crawlers left. By the time they get to the Mustangs, this tower should be down. Nice first round from Amaroq. Alright, here we go, round 2. Farseer's offered. I like that. Stormcaller's interesting. Amaroq takes the Farseer. I always like taking the extra fangs. Not if I'm Saksu, though. I take the Marksman. It's an interesting choice, considering their problem is largely chaff related. Maybe we'll get some chaff clear? Okay, yeah, we're gonna buy 3 arc lights. That makes sense. So Amaroq buys some more crawlers, and this Farseer to flesh everything out. And I think it's really just going to depend on how these arc lights engage. If this Farseer is able to lock on to the bigger targets, it could cause some serious problems for Saksu, but otherwise, there is enough chaff clear over here now that they should be able to punch through most of the forces. The Hounds are not great into the arc lights without any levels, so looks like it's going pretty well for Amaroq. But forces are getting depleted while Saksu's right side army is now coming over. This Farseer is doing a fantastic job. The Mustangs are now on the tower. This looks like it's actually going to go really well for Amaroq. That far left side just didn't hold up quite long enough. And there we go. Wins by a Farseer. You know, I heard those units are pretty good. The opponent immediately takes the additional deployment. If I'm Amaroq, I'm probably thinking the same thing. Right here. That, no matter what he's planning to do, it's early enough that having that third deployment is going to always be beneficial. Being able to get more chaff down in the later rounds if need be. Being able to deploy a full gospel in one go if so desired. You know, normal things. Getting an elite Rhino card and dropping 3 level 4 Rhinos on the turn for fun. Not that I've ever done that more than once. It's a lot of fun. Alright, so Amaroq picks up sledgehammers. Okay. Our opponent also picks up another pack of sledges and gets range and 2 more arc lights. Okay. Going heavy into the anti-chaff here. I don't blame them. I do love that we're just having a slugfest here on the left. Even the right side is respecting it and coming over to party. Yep, that makes sense. 5 arc lights with range into our board is pretty rough. They did get some levels as well. Okay, lightning storm. Yep. I'm a little surprised our opponent was so quick to ignore the lightning storm. Efficient tech is good, but this lightning storm just brutalizes both sides of the board. Maybe they're feeling confident, but they save no money for a shield, and this is going to hurt. They do flank with a pack of crawlers on our weak side. That is going to distract some of our crawlers over there. Looks like they will likely take that tower, and it could be at a very inopportune time. Amaroq plans for the lightning storm, but should do a decent job of protecting some of these mustangs and hounds, and possibly the Farseer will slip in there. I think if we can get enough units inside the bubble, our opponent doesn't really have enough damage to burst through it before we can take out a good chunk of them, especially with this lightning storm. Yeah, just look at that. It's bedlam, man. Oh. Yes, the opponent was willing to take the loss on this round just to get set up, and I can respect that. Here we come. We take the tower at a really good time, just as these other sledges are engaging on the right side, slowing down their crawlers so they won't be taking the tower anytime soon. At least not until we've cleaned up everything. These level 2 Mustangs coming in doing some serious work. Just shooting everything. This Farseer right here, yeah, that thing's leveled. It's not a lot of damage, but it is a lot of units. Alright, so Amaroq has been in the driver's seat, and there are 2 level 2 rhinos. It is only round 5 though, and round 5 is not too late to start with the gospel. But Amaroq, if I were you, I'd be starting with the gospel right here. You've got the opponent on the back foot, and you just got the 2 level 2 rhinos. Alright, so our opponent takes the 4 fangs. So if I'm me, which I am, I'm looking at this board, and I think that these 2 rhinos can either slot in over here or over here. Yes, they do have the Farseers, but we're about to drop 3 packs of wasp with them as well. I don't know, maybe Amaroq's gonna get a wasp drop later. Maybe that's the big thing. I'm not sure. But clearly we are going for back corner rhinos, so let's see how this works out. Level up the Farseer, get range on the Mustangs, more Mustangs. I like that for Amaroq. Alright, 4 level 2 fangs just spread across the front. So our opponent is really not doing a great job of spacing things out. We already have the lightning storm, and if we manage to get back around to it, I feel like that's going to just wipe out the majority of the opponent's resources again. They are just going heavy into the arc lights. Holy cow. And they run anti-air. Okay. But with taking charge shot, that's going to slow them down a lot. Especially into wasps and crawlers. We always have the option to hit loose formation on the crawlers as well, even from the flanks, forcing the missiles. but it would also benefit us in this frontal assault as well. We haven't done anything other than level up the hounds, which does limit their effectiveness a bit. This charge shot is going to punch through that shield pretty easily. We'll just see how much we can take out before that happens. Okay, so the Farseer, does a little bit. Manages to take out a couple arc lights, takes out the marksman, but yeah. That's a big counter punch with all those arc lights there. Not a lot of chaff though. I know those 4 packs of fangs helped out a little bit, but there's really not a lot of chaff on either side of the board. Okay, so now I believe our opponent has 2 additional supplies. They do. And we only have 1, but we do have extended range sledgehammers. Okay. Well, that would explain why we went into the sledges. I've got a range of 125. Our Mustangs with range have a range of 135. So Amaroq's not going to be taking the range on these sledges. More arc lights. Alright. I know you're feeling good right now, Saksu, but you've got a lot of chaff clear. Okay, we do take the loose formation like we were just talking about. There's not a lot of punching through damage though. These Void Eyes are going to do a little bit of work, but as you can see, they're not putting in a ton of damage. Everything is coming from these arc lights. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so Amaroq quickly cleans up the flank. Here come all of the crawlers into the charge shot arc lights. The marksman is still stuck on crawlers. Okay, here come the rhinos. They managed to punch through the tanks, but unfortunately our rhinos don't have any sort of survivability right now, so charge shot is just going to eat them up. Same thing with this Farseer. It does take out a good chunk of units. So right now the opponent's feeling pretty good. They have a little bit of upshoot with 4 fangs and a couple of marksmen. They do have the option to click the button on the arc lights to make them shoot up. This incendiary bomb, if Amaroq takes it, is really going to hurt the opponent. Amaroq takes the additional deployment. Okay, so now we have 4 deployments on both sides. I think Saksu takes the incendiary bomb as well. Okay, takes the shield. Interesting. And Amaroq's going to slip the gospel in right behind. Okay. Nope. Flipping sides. Alright, so we are on the right side here. We've got range already. Since we have 4 deployments, we're also getting 2 crawlers in front. Okay. With the extra deployment. I like that. I mean, if you got all the extra deployments, why not deploy it all at once? Can't blame that. I think there was even a 5th deployment offered. So technically we could have gotten our crawler screen and our wasp in on the same turn, which is pretty wild. I mean, I love doing it when I get a 3 wasp drop, get 3 wasps, 3 crawlers, and sometimes even a level 2 rhino with them. That's just, can't beat it. 7 units into the flank on a single turn is just phenomenal. 5 units is also great, and this is without any drops, so that's pretty gross. Opponent was so worried about fire, though, they didn't consider any possibility of a flank play. And all they have right now are some fangs, which are going to get some kills, but also going to feed experience to the wasps once they lock onto them instead of shooting the bubble. Hopefully these wasps will level. They are ranged, which helps them out here. If they were not ranged, I think we would have lost all of the wasps before they're able to clear that bubble. But these guys are about to level. There you go. This pack's about to level. And the opponent has 2 upshoot left. So, alright, there's another level. I'm not sure if we can find the 3rd pack, but we'll have at least 2 level 2s next round. I'm imagining Amaroq's going to immediately take ground spec as well as throw down some rhinos. May actually throw down something in the air though. Like perhaps a wraith or some phantom rays. Just because The opponent does have a lot of leveled charge shot arc lights over there, which will get stuck on the crawlers, but if they get locked onto the Rhino instead, could cause us some problems. So the opponent, just by sheer force of will, is going to win this round, putting Amaroq into a very precarious situation. Okay, he cannot lose another round. Amaroq, yep, improved fire control, okay. And our opponent took the advanced shield device, which is not going to do any good against ground spec. So these bottom two packs of Wasp here have just had their DPS against ground units increased 6 times. This one's been tripled. Opponent does come out with a pair of degen wraiths. Okay, we have armor on our rhinos. Going to have to see something over here. The opponent gets 2 more 4 degen wraiths on a single turn. Whew. Luckily, they do not have range. Alright, so Amaroq is... where are we going? Not over here. Undoing? Okay. 2 more wasps. Level 2 rhino. There's the armor. Okay. So 3 wasps and a rhino. Sounds like the start to a great joke. Take lone range speed. Alright, let's see. So normally I like to put, yeah, okay. So he does put them behind the level 1s. I like to have the level 1s in front when I have to do it like this, just to make sure that we have a decent screen for the higher level wasps. Man, that degen wraith answer into all that. Woo-wee! Luckily, looks like we're actually doing a better job on the other side now. We've distracted them. We managed to take the tower with this backpack of wasps, which is going to cause us to punch through all around. Here comes the late rhino. Okay. All these arc lights over here still can't shoot up. Yeah, this is going to be a win. 1 upshoot left. No towers left. No upshoot left. Yeah. So the tides are turning. Degen was a great idea from the opponent. Amaroq committed to the bit though and was able to punch through. I think if they had stuck another one over here and really committed to this defense because they were winning everything else, there's a good chance that that doesn't go as well as it does. But it did, so we'll take it. Amaroq taking the level 6 Phoenix. That's a great choice. That's going to snipe out these wraiths. Our opponent should be considering either the Phoenix or the Sabertooth. I would probably take the Sabertooth if I'm them. That is a great level 7 Sabertooth that would immediately delete this rhino. Here's that lightning storm I was talking about earlier. It's back around now. Hopefully our opponent remembers to shield. We do take anti-air on the wasps. They do take anti-air on the arc lights. Okay. So really this is going to come down to... oh, we got rid of anti-air. What are we doing? So if we take the anti-air here, these wraiths disappear, and the degen beam stopping our push goes away. These arc lights are going to be on these loose crawlers. Hopefully Amaroq throws down another pack in the middle. And okay, so getting 2 more rhinos, putting them in the side. Okay, so here we go. He's now adding some extra defenses to let the wasps do some work. Okay. Got another wasp probably coming over here. Alright. Looks like there is... yeah, I like this. So, goodbye wraiths. We hardly knew you. That means arc lights are now busy shooting rhinos. Even with charge shot, they're doing quite a bit of damage, but they're not doing anything to the wasps. Alright, now they're on to the wasp, but we got the tower because we completely overran the flank. Tower did not get upgraded, so these big Mustangs over here are chunking down these arc lights, and yeah, we're just able to run the stampede and the swarm led by this beautiful rhino. Take another tower, clean up these high-level arc lights. That it's not going to be game. Wow. One more round. Okay, Amaroq's back in the driver's seat. Amaroq loves his Ion Blast, and honestly, the opponent is set up for it here. That is a straight line if I've ever seen one. Our opponent, if I'm thinking Orbital or Ion. They keep losing over here. If they Ion the flank, I think they can take out quite a few of these packs, and really this is what's been finishing the game. I wonder if Amaroq's going to put like a crawler over here to pull things over, keep it in line. Okay, there's the ion beam. So Amaroq is not running jump drive. I know he switches back and forth from time to time. If he was running jump drive right here, I think this would be a great time to do it. No, he is running the shields to protect from the anti-air barrage. Elite Marksman, we now have 4 tech arc lights. So this arc light right here, I believe, is the biggest. Yeah, 153 meters of range. That does outrange our wasps quite significantly. Luckily, we have rhinos. Whirlwind's been added. That's going to help deal with these sledges. A little bit? Yeah? Okay. I mean, we don't really have any chaff clear, so we need some form of chaff clear. Coming straight at the tower, because they still haven't built out any really front defense. This Wraith should just be annihilated. Still haven't added anything else in front. So both of these Wraiths, yeah, they're gone. If only we had a little bit more range. We managed to avoid with some of the wasps. Okay, there we go. Luckily, the frontal attack is just too powerful, able to overrun the forces. And over here, my goodness, that ion beam just took out everything. Wow. Amaroq the Surgeon, they call him. So, this anti-air arc light defense, I mean, I don't want to say it's bad, because it was clearly killing quite a few wasps, but our opponent never really built any chaff. We built Whirlwind expecting, or we took Whirlwind expecting more chaff, and they just kept building bigger and bigger units. So yeah, you know, they're taking out the rhinos. The rhinos didn't do a whole ton of damage, but the rhinos did come in. They soaked up the attacks, keeping them off the wasps. So you look at these wasps, we've got 20,000, 20,000, 40,000, 44,000, 50,000, 25, 20. These got eaten by a beam, and they still were able to put out a ton of damage. These guys over here, 20,000. These rhinos back here, like, running and tanking. It was just a great effort all around by Amaroq's forces being able to overrun, because there was no depth. Once we got through the first line, we were in. Maybe if there's some more chaff coming in late, maybe like a pack of crawlers here or something, or even just more Mustangs. Mustangs act as chaff as well as being anti-air defense. A great game by Amaroq, bringing the gospel to an opponent even later than has normally been tried. Had a few games where round 6 it was pretty straightforward, but round 7 is definitely pushing it. So, Amaroq, I now challenge you for a round 8 gospel. I look forward to seeing that one. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. For all you cultists out there, give me a glory to the swarm in the comments. I am your cult leader, Cheese, and I'll see you in the next one.